Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp. I am the founder of Utrema Limited, and we make novel fertilizers, interesting biostimulants, and organic biopesticides that can be used in conventional or hydroponic or organic cultivation. Today, I thought I'd do an episode about the cultivation of a Japanese delicacy, Edamame, or Edamame, perhaps? I eat this, and I have no idea how you pronounce it. In our house, we pronounce it Edamame, but maybe that's incorrect. Anyway, it is a staple in Japanese and Asian culture, Far East, and I eat it when I go to Wagamamas. If you ever go to Wagamamas in the UK, then they serve you this, and it's delicious. It's a legume, so produces a pod that contains beans that you then pop out. You don't eat the coating. It's not like mange tout. It is, so you eat them, and the problem is that they are harvested in the summer in Japan, and the quality deteriorates rapidly in storage. So a number of Japanese scientists have looked at cultivating it hydroponically under LED lights indoors, where they can control the light, the temperature, the humidity, carbon dioxide, and nutrient delivery. And they've been able to produce stable yields independent of the climatic conditions. And it was conducted at Hosei University and the University of Tokyo. And these big guys have been working on LED lighting for a number of years in tomatoes, and so they thought they'd look at this as well. So it was Professor Toshio Sano, and from the Faculty of Biosciences and Applied Chemistry. So I said it's usually harvested in the summer, but the freshness deteriorates and long-term storage is difficult. So to overcome those barriers, they're looking at hydroponics, particularly NFT, using rock wool, and then mist culture they talk about. So I'm not sure what mist culture involves. If you know, is it aeroponics? But it can't be if it's NFT and rock wool. So something's lost in translation there. They found more vigorous plant growth, producing stronger stems, healthier leaves, and greater biomass than other hydroponic methods and traditional open field cultivation. So the method could be used to produce it in conventional farms. What else can we say about this study on these crops? The hydroponic method produced a higher sugar content, which is good because this is a sweet delicacy. Even though it's a vegetable, can be used in desserts as well, I think. The free amino acid levels were lower, so perhaps less health benefits. But the isoflavones, which give the compounds their health benefits as well, and their tastes were significantly higher. So this suggests that LED lighting may stimulate the synthesis of those bioactive compounds. So altogether, better taste, healthier promotion. The research is important because Edamame is a nutrient-dense, high-protein crop, whereas most hydroponic crops are not high-protein, and certainly leafy greens are not nutrient-dense. So it breaks the long-standing assumption that legumes can't be cultivated in artificial light-type plant factories. So it's a world-first success demonstrating growing delicious Edamame anywhere, anytime, and it'll be interesting to know if they used a nitrogen-based fertilizer, because you can grow, just because legumes don't need nitrogen because of the nitrogen-fixing bacteria in their root nodules, doesn't mean that you can't supply nitrogen. So it's just that you don't get that. You're basically paying for nitrogen when you don't have to. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone is looking to grow a legume and are looking for a nitrogen-free feed, then we can make one up here at Utrema for you. That's not a problem. We'd love to research production of any type of legume in hydroponics with you, and we can lend our plant nutrition expertise and it could be something that you could build IP around, because there are not many legume crops. It doesn't have to be Edamame, although that is a good high value crop. Could be chickpeas, could be anything. You want to be a short crop. That's the other thing, is the beauty of Edamame is that it's not a big long trellis forming type of plant like, say, mange tout would be, or like runner beans or broad beans. I don't know what you call those in America. fava beans, cannelloni, kidney beans. You want a short plant, especially for an indoor vertical farm where you can get multiple layers, shorter plants, more in line with, say, lettuce than tomato. And this one works with that. So yeah, if you are interested in looking at optimizing the nutrition for a different crop, then I think legumes is a great one to try, because things like monge-2, edamame, they're a bit more higher value than lettuce, which, as we've talked about in the past, struggles to make money for many vertical farms. So maybe my friend Chris down in Dartmoor would be interested in this one for his new hydroponic farm. If so, get in touch. The other reason why legumes are not grown often in hydroponics is because you have to have the plants long enough for them to flower and be pollinated by bees. Legumes are pollinated by bees, bumblebees, so you need a pollinator in there, or some sort of hand pollination, some sort of vibrating tool to pollinate them. And you then have to wait for the seeds to set and fill with the protein. And being an annual, they will then die off and you'll have to start again. So I guess you would struggle to buy well, no, you should be able to buy edamame seeds in the UK and in America. It's not just in Japan. And even if you struggle, I'm sure you can get someone to import them. Anyway, that's been a really interesting story, even if it's not been a long one. If you've had success growing legumes in hydroponics, then please let me know. I think I've grown some. Obviously, there's microgreens and things like pea shoots and stuff like that, but you don't even need any fertilizer and hardly any light to grow those. So they are not difficult at all. So I suppose they are the one hydroponic crop. But when you get beyond that and you actually have to harvest what is essentially the fruit and the seeds, then it becomes a lot more difficult. And I'm not aware of anyone doing that commercially. But let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, that's been Hydroponics Daily for today. If you found this useful, please do leave us an Apple podcast review if you're listening on an Apple device. If you're not listening on an Apple device, then just make sure you follow the podcast, and please check out utrema.co.uk. As I say, we're experts in plant nutrition, and if we don't have something that you need, we could either make it or tell you where to buy it from, the best source, and we won't even make any money from that. We'll just help you out of the goodness of our heart because you listen to our podcast. Thank you very much for listening to today. And I've no idea what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but I'm sure it'll be an absolute banger. Goodbye.